wanted to make this video, and I'm also, in fact, I probably should try to get that video while I still can. It's a videos that Chaos had made, but this video is not about that though. Okay, here's my situation, and it's just the perps are probably gonna. It's not like it's nothing I hadn't said before, but I feel the need to say it again. Okay, when I head out, if I make myself aware, if like I like I've already told people about this, like I have the 3 strike rule, right? I don't automatically assume people are just perps, but at the same time, I always keep this one rule that I have. I'm not obligated to talk to people I don't know. It ain't something of just me being parrot. I'm just not obligated to, you know, not obligated to just join up into a conversation. I'm not obligated to just talk to random people. It's not just being antisocial. It's basically my circumstance is fellow TIs, our circumstances are like way different than the average person, as I'm sure you all know. So this is a different thing. It's not, and it also to point out that I'm not antisocial. I mean, I talk to the people I have no choice but to talk to, such as the clerks. And this is just when I'm out and about, right? This is my line of defense when I'm out and about. So if I'm going grocery shopping, right, and I'll naturally talk to the cashier, but I'm not getting into a conversation with the cashier. And most of the time, I won't even say anything at all. I'll just go ahead and get my stuff. Just let that be the end of it and be on. Why? Because unfortunately, even the cashier are perps too. It's not saying everybody is. It's just that, and this is for people who are not aware. You got to understand. They do random things mostly to trigger PTSD. They do random things to trigger sleep deprivation. They do random things to do a lot of stuff, okay? I shouldn't even be saying this because this is possibly putting me out there, but I guess it's not really because, like, I've already mentioned some of this before, but I feel the need to do it again. So when I head out, I don't respond or react to any necessary activity because it's bullshit. I'm just going to go ahead and say it for what it is. It's just bullshit. Most if not all conversations that just so happen to show up around your location whenever you're passing by, and the average person is not going to understand this, but these types of conversations are scripted. They're not legitimate at all, and they're just there to basically try to nab your attention. And all the time that they're doing this, and I have witnessed this, they're constantly looking at you to see if you're responding, to see if you're looking over there, to see if it's grabbing your attention. They'll do many different things to get to you, many different things to piss you off, to get under your skin. But for most TIs, this is my warning to you. Look, don't give away unnecessary information that these perps will see, because they do watch your videos. And if you're basically giving them tips out on what pisses you off, they're just going to use that against you, and they're going to keep bombarding you with it. The way I do it, the way I use the situation against them is that I put it in a no factor situation to where they can't discredit me in the slightest. Now, here's the thing. I'm just a guy going out, handling his business, minding my own damn business. I went out there to the store to go get something. So explain to me why all of a sudden there just so happens to be an issue popping up. And this isn't an issue coming from me. This is an issue coming from a person who is, brought themselves into my time. So when a person tries to basically involve themselves with me, you are invading my time, sir or madam. I didn't go out of my way invading your time. You came out of your way invading mine. Now, this is my line of defense, okay? I'm not the type of person who would just not talk. I don't mind talking, but it's got to be a reason for it. And that's pretty much the issue I've had most of my life, is that it's not that I was antisocial. It's just that people just did not have a reason to say or to talk or anything. And whenever I started, bringing my points to the table, they didn't like it. I'm like, okay, you want to talk? What about? Is there something that came up? I mean, what's up? And like, if it's something like of interest, then fine, okay. But then tell me that you found something interesting and then you wanted to share it and see what my point of view of the situation was. Like, just be honest with the situation. But unfortunately, You can rarely find conversations like that nowadays. You know, it's very rare. You most likely would have a higher chance of having a conversation like that with a fellow TI than any other random person, to tell you the truth. Because I mean, not even just a TI, but you know, like a whistleblower, a truth seeker, you will actually have more. You have that more of a chance of a legitimate conversation with someone like that than of someone of another category. It's a shame of how messed up things are nowadays. But I don't pay attention to the colors that they use. This is why I use the PTSD frequency audio whenever I head out, because this helps me avert that attention to do that, because let me basically break this down. Ooh, excuse me. Let me break this down to make it a little bit more simpler. They'll use remote manipulation to try to enforce your attention to the thing that they're, like whatever color they're flashing to you. When you basically walk out with the anti-PTSD frequency plan, that lowers down that effect, and you find it that you're able to at least, you're able to ignore that shit a lot easier. This is what they do not like me doing, and I do it quite well. So technically I ignore that shit and I just go on about my day. I don't even take a second look or whatever. I just keep going. But like you see, they're going to use various different things to upset you. The color harassment, you got to stop reacting to that, because they're going to just they're going to keep doing it, and a lot more often too. They're going to look for many different things to upset you. The whole point of them doing that is to keep you in a state of, to keep you unstable. It's to keep you in constant alert and panic mode. That's what it is. And you got to break free. You can't let them do that, because like if you do, they're going to use that against you and try to get you into a mental institution. I know this because they actually did attempt this many different times, but it won't work. And I really hope they hear this, because I'm documenting every time they try, because that's going to show that this ain't no normal circumstances, and there's some really shady shit going on. So you got to learn how to utilize, because you see, that's going to come back on them if you haven't documented. This is exactly why they stole my voice recorder, because I had the necessary documentation that was needed for this, and they felt threatened by it. They wouldn't have stole it otherwise. So I know how to put them in that little area where they don't want to be in. But the thing is, like, they are really fucking scared. They are really scared of you, because they are well aware, for one thing, that the shit that they're doing is highly fucking illegal. They know that they can't like be busted by any random citizen doing this shit, obviously, because the whole attempted point of them doing this is to make you look like, and you're not mentally ill. Okay, you're not. But the whole point of it is to make it seem like you are mentally ill, so they can get you in a mental institution. And surprisingly enough, a fellow targeted individual told me that one of the videos I've shared, it was a lady, and it was a dude who was basically talking about directed energy weapons, right? Like, he was one of the people who are like high up in the command chain of that shit. And it was mostly related to the fucking psych wards. His career was related to that. Now, I cannot recall the guy's name, but I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Because now it's starting to make a whole lot of sense why they want you in the psych wards. These assholes, not that lady because she is a whistleblower, but that guy, these fuckers who are in charge of this shit are actually fucking experimenting on people in the freaking psych wards. And of course, we all knew this was happening. Of course, we all knew it. But, TIs, you cannot be reacting to what they're doing. Look, this is all you have to do. Jot down every little thing that they're doing to basically fuck with you. You could do a video of it. You could write it down. It doesn't matter. I highly recommend you to do a video about it. And then you don't have to post this. You don't have to post it. Just have it tucked away somewhere. This is why I recommended getting the glasses. As a fellow TI who also utilizes the glasses, and he's getting a lot of evidence. A lot. Now, here's the thing. The main problem is that people, as you know, is going to look at certain evidence and say, well, like, this could just be a person just, you know, just randomly minding their own business. But it's different if they see things from your point of view, and it's a constant thing. Because remember, all of these things that these perps are doing is meant for you to see. Let me tell you something. I would walk out in public, sit down at a local park bench with a big freaking newspaper. As soon as they start their perping activity, I just prop that mug open and just literally just bam, censored. Don't even have to see their bullshit. Oh, you want to make some noise? Oh, no problem. No problem. I'll just pop in some headphones, listen to some music so I don't even have to hear your yourself basically making a clown out of yourself. Don't have to hear their shit. Don't have to see their shit. And I am telling you, these gang stalkers are brain dead, all right? They're brain dead. They are so brain dead that they roll their eyes whenever they cannot stay. One of the things I normally do, right? And this really I know this pisses them off. I'm like, I can't wait to get away from this motherfucker. I can't wait to get away from this bastard. I can't wait to get away from all this corrupt. They cannot stand that because they know how annoying they are. They know how annoying they are. Of course, that counts as a response, but the more stuff you find out that pisses them off, the better, because it allows you to fuck with them back. And let me tell you something. Nothing else fucks with them more when you're able to basically construct a conversation in a way that make it, in the conversation they're using to basically discredit you, they cannot stand it when you can basically configure that conversation in a way that it puts them on the defensive. They cannot stand that shit at all. No. So I highly recommend you to definitely learn some ways with words, because that's really going to be effective for you. And this is why I always tell fellow TIs, you always have to look at everything when it comes to a certain situation. Don't just make assumptions about certain things. And yes, I have been guilty of making assumptions myself. I'm not proud of it, but I learned to basically, I learned from my mistakes and try to move on from there. And I'm sure many of you also do the same. Many of us do. But you need to understand, like, even when you're talking online, like, you got to be careful. Like, I get that certain things do bother you, but like at the same time, the perps see that. When they see that, they're going to keep doing it. And the more you see, the whole problem with it is that the more your mind is fixated on it, on the stuff that they do, the more it's fixated on it, the more it's just going to get you stressed out. And if you're stressed out, you can't think rationally, you know? And you are indeed a rational person. They just don't want the public eye to see that. But if the public eye can see what you see as it's happening, the exact same shit every day, are you serious? Come on, man. You mean to tell me that, like, out of an entire week, 7 fucking days, 7 fucking days, pardon my language, but seriously, 7 days, you mean to tell me that that some idiot's gonna call me schizophrenic, right? You're gonna call me schizophrenic when they see the exact same thing being done in my view space, different people, but the same shit. I'm schizophrenic? Yeah, go to hell, dude. Seriously. And again, pardon my language, but at the same time, that's not my call. Whether if anybody does go to hell or not, that's the call of the Most High God. Not my call on that one. So I guess the more appropriate term will be this, shove their BS where the sun doesn't shine. I guess that would be more appropriate. But yeah, like, just don't react to every little thing. Don't give them no tips. Just ignore them. Only talk to people you got to talk to. And it's not the whole bit of anti-socialism. You see, that's another guilt trip tactic that I realized. And this was coming from the same type of people that was brainwashed by the peer pressure bit. They were brainwashed by that. And that's why I've been trying to tell people peer pressure is a form of mental conditioning. It's not what you think. It's a form of mental conditioning to get you to discard whatever self you came with, right? Whatever self you were born with, and to configure it into a self that fits their social demographic. this so you can quote unquote fit in. That's just what that is. It's just bullshit. Don't let nobody fucking change you, okay? Don't. No. Be happy with who you are. If they can't accept you for who you are, fuck them. Well, they can go. How about this? They can go fuck themselves because technically, if you say f them, technically that can be reverted back on you as an insult. So yeah, yeah, not yeah, no. Anyway, but you all see, you all get what I'm getting at here. But like, it's just that like, man, don't let don't let these arrogant pricks take your happiness away because most of these people who do this are already dead inside. Okay, they are long since been dead inside. A lot of them have, quite a lot of them, and they get off on taking happiness away from some people and whatnot. Let me tell you something. I worked my ass off at the old job I had. All right, I did. I didn't complain. If there was a job needed to be done, I was ready to get it done. I wasn't trying to debate it. I wasn't trying to conversate with it. If something needed to be done, I was there to take care of it. Why? Because I treated my job like a business. And now, after watching that video from Zacchaeus, I wish I would actually had taken the shit a step further into more of a business aspect because now, and a lot of you don't know this, but you could have gotten a shit ton of more money when you were working. And if you are still working, you probably don't want to be paying taxes. And at this point, with the crap that they're pulling now, you especially don't want to be paying taxes because that money is going. This is literally funding these pricks who's doing this, who's trying to push for the forced vaccinations, who's trying to push the lockdown on everybody, who's trying to force the GMOs on everybody. Fuck funding them. Screw that. How about that money goes somewhere even better, to communities? Actually, instead of sending them to the school where they're being brainwashed at, and hold on, looks like the battery's getting low. Let me plug that up. Instead of sending them to these schools that's basically brainwashing them, actually start doing some research and actually looking up exactly like what we've been lied from, man. And this is why it's important for me to leave that video. A lot of people, some people may not like this video that I'm gonna post of what Zacchaeus said, but the links from all of his research that he did is going to be in the description for you all to check. It's going to be the very next video. I want you all to now understand these are not my words, okay? I'm posting this as is. The confirmation and information is all is going to be in the description. All you got to do is click down and you will see it. It will all be there. All the links of what he was basically going over. And I'm telling you, when I am telling you that they have really fucked over both the education system, they have fucked over more than that. A lot more. A lot of us have been lied to. A lot of us have been fooled, bamboozled, and we're waking up to this, to this stuff that we have been, that has just been covered up for so long. Man, I used the right frequencies for parasites, and I ended up having that like right around my head area. The best thing to use is an MP3 player, because at least they can't utilize anything within that to basically F with you. And definitely make sure it's a right frequency, not a binaural beats one. But I used that, and dude, I ended up having that going down, and I think I was able to catch a few of these things that came out of my damn feet. No joke. I think I actually was able to catch a few of them because the game stalkers were actually freaking out when I was doing this. Now I got the bag right there, but I don't know if they can get through that or not. I don't know. Unfortunately I used the wrong type of bag when I did this. I was actually meaning to use the Ziploc bags that are see-through, but unfortunately I ended up using a garbage bag and you can't see through that. So I'm probably just gonna end up throwing that out. I am not joking. When these things get quite large, they really, really do. They seriously do. I say about as large as I guess like maybe as large and just about as long, if not a little bit longer than fly larvae, something like that. But it's disgusting when you see them, though. It's really disgusting. And to think that these assholes out there are just, man. If you want to know one thing, though, one good way to basically deal with the tinnitus bit is one good way to basically get this stuff. I guess since rosemary is a good way to basically get them off. If you mix that with ginger, if you mix that stuff with ginger and like have one of those like have it grinded up and have it like in one of those what do they call those head things? I forgot what they call them. Some like it's kind of like the do rag, right? But not with the rag. It's just like a head cap or whatever. Like one of those head caps that basically keep your hair in place or something. I can't remember what they call those things. But if you were to have that like all through your hair, and then have that like on your scalp and stuff like that, and have that just sitting there as you're sleeping, I guarantee I'm pretty certain they would definitely leave from that area because I use the ginger and they can't stand that. So if you utilize both that and rosemary, that's a powerful combination because the ginger's been known to kill their eggs too. But to get back on topic, yeah, all you have to, man, look, everything that they utilize, and all you got to do is just make one documentation video, have that stored up. I would tell you to put this on an online storage, but as you know, they hack our shit. So that's out of that's not I mean, it would be nice if they would leave it alone, but actually, and I believe a fellow Ti mentioned that they did fuck with that because he was getting a lot of evidence, and I mean a lot of credible evidence. So you see, when you gather evidence, they are intimidated by that. They are really bothered by that. Otherwise, why the fuck would they delete it? If they didn't, if they, because it wouldn't make any sense. Because I mean, think about it. They're looking for new ways to fuck with you, right? Why not utilize? Why not use that shit as a reference to basically continue to fuck with the person, right? Oh, but you want to delete it? Oh, you want to steal evidence? So, it sounds like someone feels threatened. If they do some shit like that, man, they feel threatened. Period. I don't give a fuck what. I don't give a fuck how comfortable they act, how comfortable they are, man. They feel threatened. But you see, it's not so much as us that they need to be feel threatened about because they're gonna have to answer for all of this shit that they're doing. It's gonna come. That time is gonna come. It's gonna come, and I don't. I mean, hey, I can pray for them, but I don't know, because if you look in the Bible, and you see the scriptures going under the workers of iniquity, you'll see that God cannot stand people like that at all. Like, period. God can't stand people like that at all. I even posted a video of a pastor who was basically reading that script, that same exact passage in the Bible. So when I see the shit that they do, when I hear many different testimonies from many different TIs, but you know something, it's good to also like I mean I get it though, I get it. It's good to have fellow TIs that you can talk to, but you see what they do to the live streams. They don't want us to basically talk to one another. They don't want us to have a conversation about things that we've experienced and about many different solutions to help other fellow TIs. They don't like that. Of course, they don't like it at all. They go as far as fucking with it. They go as far as messing with it. So I'm wondering, there must be some other way to basically have communication because I don't know, man. It's just that they can literally pull the plug on YouTube at any given time. So I know I've said it before, but please, everybody, make an extra channel on a different platform for your own sake. Don't let your work go to waste. This goes for everybody. Don't let your hard-earned work go to waste like that, man. Don't. In fact, that reminds me, I need to actually make that other channel. That's supposed to be the announcement channel for the BitChute channel. And you know something? That's another way you can actually get away from their flagging bullshit. Because they can't flag a video that doesn't show anything that's controversial. And if they do, I mean, like just an introductory video it literally has a link to something. You can't flag that unless something within the video is indecent or something that's questionable or whatever, and it has to be within. It has to violate the actual guidelines. So if they fuck with a channel like that, that would be 100% proof that And of course, YouTube is fighting for the enemy. Of course they are. They're owned by the enemy. It's owned by Google, and Google is owned by the people who are basically doing all of this crap. Monsanto is the one that's responsible for fucking with the food. Google is one of the same. Google, as well as Facebook, is only two of the platforms responsible for basically collecting facial recognition data, people's credentials, all this fucked up information. And even if you're not even using Facebook, they still collect your data without your consent. Even if you're even with Google, like when you're not using their applications, they're still collecting data from you. No joke. They are still doing that. No joke at all, man. And even when you're not using any of those two things, you gotta deal with the gang stalkers. I believe this is why they came up with the census, because there were people who knew better not to use that shit. It's unfortunate they should have went off grid, but like the fact that they're trying to put surveillance out there, man, like I'm just like, I just don't know. I don't trust the United Nations. I don't. But at the same time, like, I'm just wondering, like, damn, what's gonna happen? Like, seriously, there's no way people are just gonna allow this shit to pass like that. There's no way people are just gonna sit by and let this shit happen. No, absolutely not, man. No, hell no. One of the things that basically got me disgusted the most was that and I've seen a lot of homeless folk in my years though. It isn't seeing homeless folk that pissed me off. It was just seeing the fact that people, and you know, sometimes I actually talked to some of these people when I was younger. And did you know, not all homeless folks are bad now. Some of these homeless folks were people who actually would have did really fucking good for the country. But what pissed me off is the system and you know something, it really showed. It really showed with this guy who basically made the tiny houses for the I think this was New York City that this guy did this at. It could have been, I could be wrong. But what he did was that he made a whole bunch of tiny houses for the homeless folk, and people who had actual apartments said, no, screw that. Throw them back on the streets. And they kept pressuring, going to court to get these people back out on the streets. They didn't want to see them living in homes, man. They didn't want to see that shit. And I'm like, are you serious? Are you serious? The only excuse they had was, well, like, I don't like looking at that. I don't like looking at that tiny house. That was their actual excuse. They're saying that the tiny houses was an eyesore. Dude, that shit provided people homes, man. So they didn't have to be on the damn street. Do you know this happened in the middle of winter? Yeah. Yeah, no joke. It's happened in the middle of winter. A lot of these people had no choice but to sleep out in the street because of them being homeless. And then what do you think when you see a bunch of people come together do some shit like that? Try to get those people back out on the street because they're claiming, oh, them living in those houses is an eyesore. Ladies and gentlemen, this is why I'm damn near just about fed up with society entirely. Because I've witnessed what this shit does to people. I've witnessed that it's a system that is very deceiving. It's a system that wants your all and expects top notch from you, but gives little to nothing in return. And then once they have no need of you, that's it. It's just like everything you did just didn't amount to shit. This doesn't amount to shit at all. None. So when I see these gang stalkers act out, I'm not pissed off about their behavior. I just ignore it. Why? Because I'm not the one acting like a fool. Because I'm not the one embarrassing myself in public looking like a dumbass. I'm not the one literally going out of my way doing all of this dumb shit that basically would make yourself look like an idiot. I don't do that crap. I'm not a fucking clown. I'm not a fucking dog. I'm not a fucking slave. I'm not a fucking puppet. No. I'm not playing the game. I don't accept their New World Order bullshit. I don't accept any of the crap that they're pushing. None of it. Some of these people may very well be in control of their own actions, but that gives us more than enough reason to basically, not just for our own sake, but for their sakes too, to stop this shit. But at the same time, man, it's getting dangerous just staying in the U.S. You know, they're closing off. They said they had the coastlines closed off and shit like that. But you know something? Clearly, people like the lockdowns has been lifted, so people are still traveling. I mean, why else would there be planes, right? But at the same time, I'm hearing that people are saying that like they got a lot of. You may not want to catch a plane getting out of here because of the shit they got down there too. Dude, they got freaking pods in the damn planes now. And if that's not worse as a TI and them having these checkpoints like that, right? It's very fucked up. And this is why it's important to get the stuff out of our systems because like you ain't gonna just be able to go anywhere, you know, when you're ready to leave with this stuff in your system where they can just manipulate and fuck with you like that. Let me tell you something. And I already took my documentation down, but I feel like I should mention this. They might get off from it. I don't really care. But I want to let you all know something. I bought a tool, right, to basically finish off the bucket. Now, they fucked with it, but you see, did I, uh, get upset? No. Did I get mad? No. No, I simply just took the documentation down as necessary. I could go farther into the details about it, but it's not needed. It's not needed because you see every little. I mentioned this before, and I gave them the warning. Everything they do will be documented. Everything. So the more and more they act out, the more and more attempts that they make, it's just it's just a growing thing on them. And don't think I'm not gonna call up those fucking life insurance companies, perps. Don't think I'm not gonna do that because that will happen and I will shut that shit down. Because what they're doing with this illegal shit, because if I'm seeing any of that shit on my ASN list, then you know for a fact that that shit's gotta be there. It's gotta be. So I'm gonna be shutting that shit down. I highly recommend any other TI go through your ASN list, okay? This is important. Go through that list. If you see any insurance companies, you need to check and see. This is for your own safety now. Check and see if there's any illegal life insurance claims out on you. This is not taking one out. This is only checking to see if there's one in your name under that company. Because that very well will be precisely where it's at. And if it is, also, if you call them, make sure you use the screen recorder before you call them to have the conversation recorded. All right? Do that, and you'll have all the evidence you'll need. Now then, if they lie and say no, but you end up finding out, oh, there is one, then, well, you could sue the shit out of that company, right? Because they lied about something and clearly they covered up a crime. So that would put corruptive, credibility on them as well, wouldn't it? Of course it would. And you see, you got to look at it from that perspective. If they cover shit up, they just involve themselves with it. If they hide some shit, they just involve themselves with it. Whenever they do dumb stuff like that, they are basically sticking their neck out for someone else, and that puts them on the hot seat. And they don't like that at all when you take down notes or evidence about that at all. When you take and jot down every little single detail, it's all of the shit's just gonna pile up in court, and it's gonna once you have, mountains upon mountains of evidence like that, dude. Like they can't. I don't give a fuck what the hell they got to say. If you got evidence that can't be discredited like that, anything that they got to say against that won't hold up in court, even if the judge is paid off. Because technically, if the judge try to basically pull a fast one, you can sue the judge. You see how that works? The more and more, it just keeps latching on to more and more people who's going to be sued in the process. And then once you have that money, you can use that to basically rebuild your life, man. Do the best you can. Now, they're quick to basically fucking get rid of, fuck around and get rid of me as best as they can at this point. Like, at least to get as much as RM data as they possibly can. Because at this point, I know who's involved. I know who's responsible. But I still know there are still other companies out there who are unnamed who are also involved. Those are the ones that I'm concerned about because I'm quite certain other fellow TIs who have checked their ASN list, they're most likely is going to be the same thing, blank names. And I'm pretty certain that has to be those private contractors. It would have to be. So that, it may not be a name there, right? It may not be a name there, but that doesn't mean you can't eventually find out who they are. And I believe if you manage to shut one of those private contractors down, you shut down a certain percentage of the targeting that's been happening, So then I cut a hole in the anti-nano barrel. I did that. And, I have to greatly say that when I did that, my blood pressure it definitely changed, and my arm felt more relaxed. I didn't use water though. I didn't use that. I had it completely empty. All I did was connect the AC to DC adapter to it, and I put my hand in there, left it in there for about a good few, maybe 2 or 3 minutes, and I even did the same thing with my feet, and I felt absolutely no activity happening on it, none. So the barrel works, but at the same time, I need to be able to drain that stuff back out because the stuff is self-repairing. That's when I decided to try to get a sample using the frequencies. So using these frequencies, this stuff definitely, you know what, the best type of thing you could possibly use. It is unfortunate because of the radiation thing. I still need to figure out how to deal with that on the belt though. That's the only issue with it. If I can figure out how to deal with that damn radiation, then that belt would be, good to use all damn day. But other than that, all right. Other than that, if you had like a sound room, a room with like speakers all over it, all you have to do is like put some earbuds in. You have the speakers all over the room, dude. If you played that, hang on, darn foot here, man. If you played some of those frequencies for parasites, there would be nowhere that, dude. Just by me playing this anywhere near my skin, they cannot stand being near it. They can't. I don't recommend people using a phone doing this though. Okay, I mean you can, but considering what they do with those phones, I highly advise against that. Maybe use, I don't know, maybe like maybe like the best thing you probably could do, I guess, is like maybe like you can still use a phone, but like maybe have it attached to some sort of speakers. But there's another thing I was thinking, maybe like the best thing, honestly, the best thing, maybe like a sound. But damn, this would require a lot of materials. One of the things I wanted to basically make, and it would require a lot of materials, it would be a table, right? It would be a table, and it would be a glass or plastic-like casing with built-in speakers around it. So you also have speakers underneath your back too. Now, what this would do, you would have something to breathe through. Now, you would definitely have something to breathe through because I know that cuts off oxygen if you didn't have one. What this would do is basically isolate your body in this thing, and the sound would just be playing the right frequencies to kill off parasites, leaving them literally where nowhere to go, nowhere to go. And over time, it would eventually kill them off. Now, how does this work? Well, because I used one single device playing the right frequency for parasites, and they could not stand that shit one bit. They went all the way away from my head to my feet when I did this. The perps didn't like it at all, And they ended up having to start up their noise campaign as a result. Why? To basically distract me, to try to get me to stop from doing it. I know their tactics, and when you start to learn their tactics, you can use that against them. So that's another good trick you definitely TIS definitely will want to know. One of the things that they I mean, it gives them a reaction, but this is why you don't ever want to, don't let them upset you, because, like, if you do, they're taught to they are taught to do this now. They are taught to escalate that situation as best as possible. They're gonna do a lot of stupid shit. You got to understand they are paid to do this. So the trick is to not play the game. When you don't play the game, they don't like that because, well, they don't get paid. I mean, they'll get paid to fuck with you, but they don't get as much if it's not effective. So yeah, I guess the whole message of the day is just be careful what you say online. Be careful any information you give out, because they'll just use that against you, and they'll just amplify that as best they can. Um, I want people to understand though. There's a perp literally around the corner from my apartment, literally on the other side of the hallway, and there are basically perps on both sides of my apartment, and there's the people using these weapons, those radiation weapons upstairs, which they have no business even being in there, and of course they had no business even using these weapons on me at all. Now, when I go to sleep, if I forget to anytime I forget to basically use that rife frequency vid for the PTSD, you got to understand that's causing they'll use that to basically use that opportunity to cause post-traumatic stress. The guy in that other unit, he's gonna literally talk his fucking ass off. Okay, he's gonna say as much as he can, as best as he can, to trigger PTSD. When I wake up, they do their little, this is their daily routine. They use their little noise harassment thing, right? And they know because the dude was basically talking shit. I don't know how he does that, but now I'm starting to realize that's not just because of some of the stuff I've seen. That's not just one dude. They're basically switching in shifts. So it's different people doing that shit. There's different people doing it, and they just swap out in shifts, because I'm like, there's no fucking way a single person is just gonna be in there just talking crap all day. And in the end, like, don't give a fuck about what these perps are saying, because think about it, they say it behind your back. The loudest think about it, and I swear Eddie Griffin said it best. The loudest person in the room is a bitch. All right, it's a bitch. If they can't say it to your face, and they have the nerve to talk a whole bunch of shit behind your back, they're a bitch. They're bitch made. I don't know how else to explain it. The fact that they can't say it to your face proves that. And that's all you need to know. There ain't no explanation. There's no need for no explanations other than that. No, they're just a bitch. And they know this to be true because that's the exact definition for that. But technically, the exact definition would be someone who basically doesn't shut up. Like a person who basically is just, I don't know. Maybe I have to look up the definition because I could be wrong about that, And it's best not to assume. Never best to assume. But you see where I'm getting at here. Anyway, if I don't have the link in the description when this video is finished uploading, I will have it in there shortly because that's a very important vid to watch. I will also have that video on the BitChute channel. Somehow I will get it. Stay safe, stay strong, everybody.